नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नाम्ने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So anyone remembers what we discussed in our last session?
After the previous session.
Yes, previous session.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare
As it Narsimha Jayanti, we talked about Prahlad Dev, we talked about Narsimha Dev. Then you talked about that we should have a bona fide spiritual master who
Hmm.
can enlighten us, and
Hmm.
Krishna then releases transcendental knowledge. We
Hmm.
also discussed about that if we chant the holy names of Krishna, our
Hmm.
consciousness gets cleaned.
Hmm.
That's what I remember. We didn't discuss the verses, but
Hmm.
we discuss in general about how to become a good devotee.
Yes. Anyone else remember any points? Hmm. Anyone else would like to share? All right. In our last session, one of the most important thing we try to understand is what is the relationship between lust and desire. How lust influences our desires, that we understood, and then later on, as mentioned, we discussed various other general aspects of
I
Krishna
can ask right
consciousness.
now, or should I keep it? Can I ask right now, or should I keep it to the end of the session?
Yeah, you can ask.
I would like to understand the difference between lust and greed. Like we have 5 vices, right? Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh,
Hmm.
and Ahankar. So what's the
Hmm.
difference between Kam and Lobh?
Yes. So greed is to have more. I want more and more and more and more. That is greed. I want to accumulate more and more and more in my life. That is greed. Lust is I want to enjoy more and more. I want to enjoy more and more. That is lust.
Okay.
So there is a greed, lust, and anger. Krishna says, we will see in the further chapters of Bhagavad Gita, he says, these three are the gateways to hell. Just like in Mumbai, there is a gateway of India, which leads to, uh, they enter in India through that gateway. That was the route for business and all these things, right? Same way, there is a gateway to hell. What is that? Lust, anger, and greed.
Gotcha.
So, in previous session, we discussed how, just like with the example or with the analogy, just like I am wearing this specs. Suppose I remove this specs and I wear black color of glasses. So, I'll be able to see the things in gray scale, gray shades, black and white. World will become black and white for me. Same way, we being influenced by lust, our desires also are in similar way. We get lusty desires. Lusty desires means we want to enjoy more and more. We want to exploit more and more. Hmm. So being influenced by this contamination or contaminated consciousness, or being influenced by this lust, our desires also are in the same way. Just like this eye has a propensity to see, same way this spirit soul has a propensity to desire. Now, being influenced by lust, we get lusty desires. We get lusty desires. So now we will see what further Krishna is mentioning. Today we will be starting verse number. Anyone remembers which verses will be taking up?
38 to 40.
38 to 40, chapter
Yes,
3.
38 to 40.
Prabhu,
Hmm.
in 37 verse, it was also mentioned that lust can be spiritualized. If
Hmm.
it is that lust can be transformed in service of Lord also, if it is towards Lord.
Correct.
If you will,
Yes. Under a proper training.
yes,
Under
like
a,
Hanuman ji.
yes. Just like an example was given, Lord Hanuman, he transformed his anger in the service of the Lord. That entire Lanka he's burnt up, yeah, and engaged his anger in the service of the Lord. Same way, further we'll see in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Amosmi, I am the sex life, he is mentioning, which is aviruddho, which is not against dharma. Aviruddh means not against. Viruddh means against, which is not against dharma. That I am. So everything has a utility. Everything has a utility. So same way, suppose we have certain desires, but if we desire for Krishna, if we desire for Krishna, so those desires help us to get purified. Those desires help us to get purified. Just like I want to eat something nice. Suppose I want to eat some rasgulla. So let me prepare and offer it to the Lord and have it. Uh, let me prepare and offer it to the Lord. Let me prepare it for the Lord pleasure. So even though I want to enjoy, I want to have rasgulla, I offer it to the Lord. By this, what happened? Gradually my desires will get purified. Through these desires, I'll get purified. And desires will also get purified. We'll start with the next verse, verse number 38. All of you please join in chanting this shloka. Dhuma धूमनेन व्रियते वह्निर् यथा
ह्रियते
दृष्टो मलेन च
तादृशो मलिन च
यथोल्बनेनावृतो गर्भस्
यथोल्बनेनावृतो
गर्भस्तथा
गर्भस्य
तथा तेनदम् आवृतम्.
तेनेद
तथा
आवृतं
तेनेदमावृतम्.
Anyone would like to chant this shloka?
धूमेना व्रियते वर्णिर्यथादर्शो मलिन च यथा लनेनैव च गर्भस्तथा तेनेदमावृतम्.
Anyone else? Try.
धूमना व्रियते वाणीर् यथा दर्शो मलेन च यथाल्पेवो नावृतो गर्भस्तथा तेनेदम् आवृतम्.
Wonderful. Someone else?
धूमेन व्रियते बहिर्यथादर्शो मलिन च यथोल्बेनावृत्यो गर्भस्थ तेनेदमावृत्यम्.
Wonderful. Yes, someone else would like to try? Yes. Someone else want to chant the shloka? Alright. We'll begin with the translation. As fire is covered by smoke, as mirror is covered by dust, or as the embryo is covered by the womb, similarly, the living entity is covered by different degrees of this lust. So here, Krishna with the help of analogy nicely he's explaining that lust is not like 0 or 1. Lust is not like 0 or 1. There are different degrees by which one is influenced or covered by this lust. In earlier verses, we understood what is lust. There were 3-4 kinds of lust. So here Krishna is giving 3 analogy. First is fire is covered by smoke. When we ignite the fire with the help of some wood and all, there is a smoke around the fire which is covering the fire. And there is a second example that Krishna gives is a mirror. Mirror is covered by the dust. If you leave your house for a few days or maybe for a few months, you will see how mirror it get covered by dust, and it is little difficult to see our own face. Third example Krishna gives here is, or as the embryo is covered by the womb, just like a child is taking a shape in the womb of a mother. So that child is completely covered by the womb, different layers of that skin is covered by that. So we'll read the purport and we'll try to understand more in detail. There are 3 degrees of covering of the living entity by which his pure consciousness is absorbed. This covering is but lust under different manifestation, like smoke in the fire, dust on the mirror, and the womb about the embryo. When lust is compared to smoke, it is understood that the fire of living spark can be a little perceived. In other words, when the living entity exhibits his Krishna consciousness slightly, he may be likened to the fire covered by the smoke. Although fire is necessary where there is smoke, there is no overt manifestation of fire in the early stage. This stage is like beginning of Krishna consciousness. The dust on the mirror refers to a cleansing process of the mirror of the mind by so many spiritual methods. The best process is to chant the holy name of the Lord. The embryo covered by the womb is an analogy illustrating a helpless position. For a child in the womb is so helpless that he cannot even move. This stage of living condition can be compared to that of a tree. The trees are also living entities, but they have been put in such a condition of life by such a great exhibition of lust that they are almost void of all consciousness. The covered mirror is compared to the birds and beasts, and the smoke covered fire is compared to the human beings. In the form of a human being, the living entity may revive a little Krishna consciousness, and if he makes further development, the fire of his spiritual life can be kindled in the human form of life. By careful handling of the smoke in the fire, and the fire can be made to blaze. Therefore, the human form of life is a chance for the living entity to escape the entanglement of material existence. In the human form of life, one can conquer the enemy lust by the cultivation of Krishna consciousness under able guidance. So very beautifully Prabhupada has explained. So these 3 analogy what Krishna has given. Embryo, we'll start from the embryo. An embryo is covered by the womb. Is the grossest covering which is very difficult to overcome. Just like a child is in the womb of a mother, he is completely in the helpless situation. He is completely in the helpless situation. To overcome lust, that degree of lust is very, very tough. Is very, very tough. One may need to put a lot of efforts to overcome that kind of degree of lust. And that kind of degree of lust can be seen in trees. Basically, based on our this consciousness, we get our birth. If we have a very low consciousness, just like there was one pastime where Nal Kubera and Manigriva, they were completely absorbed in this sense gratification. They were completely absorbed in the sense gratification they were enjoying with the woman and completely intoxicated. They were naked. So they get their birth as a tree. So same way, a person who is completely ignorant, he gets his birth as a tree. The degree of lust in him is high. He is so much absorbed in enjoying the senses that he is not at all careful about his own surrounding. So such a person takes a birth in the form of tree. Many times, a person who is completely ignorant and just absorbed in his sense gratification activities, just like a lot of movies, and nowadays the culture is like that. So a person is tend to take a birth in the tree form of life. Second is, a mirror is covered by dust. This is compared to an analogy of a animal or a beast, because after getting a birth of an animal, after that he has a chance to take birth as a human form of life. So he is just like mirror. You have to put little efforts, and with that little efforts you can wipe off the dust and you can see your face clearly. Same way, these animals, after certain lives, they'll get a human form of life where they have a chance to clean or get free from this tendency of lust or different degrees of lust. And human form of life is compared to a fire covered by smoke. Just like to remove the smoke, you just little fan off, just little you blow the air, wind to that fire, that smoke will go away. So in the human form of life, we have with minimum efforts, we can easily come out of this degrees or this covering of lust.
So, as you have a question, Prabhuji, as you very correctly stated that in the human form of life, you can very easily, most easily come from this this lust thing,
Covering, yeah.
and you we initially also mentioned that with the jap of Hare Krishna, you can do that. So, how is it possible in animals? I mean, what is it that they do that they can come out of this?
Yes. So these animals, they are completely under the control of laws of nature. So they have to just spend their life. Suppose an animal is there, he is a dog. He'll just continue to live as a dog, and after that, because he is in that birth, he is engaged in his various activities. He has freedom. He can move around. He can eat all those things. He can do. Whereas tree is not in that position. He is completely bound up. He is completely in a helpless situation, right? So for this dog or an animal, after certain number of years, he get a chance or an opportunity to take birth in the human form of life, where he can get completely rid from this covering called lust, right?
But Prabhu, one thing here, even the trees, they give shade to people, they give fruits to human beings or to
Yeah.
people in
Hmm.
general, then
Hmm.
how they should also come out of this state.
Yes.
They are not doing anything for self, they are in fact giving to the people, back
Hmm.
to the society.
Yes. So there are some pious trees, or there are some sinful trees. Pious trees are those which gives lot of, just like dry fruits. They are considered as pious trees. Fruits considered as pious trees. But there are some trees which are not at all used for. They are like good for nothing. They are like good for nothing. Those trees are known as sinful trees. Suppose a person who is very pious, but he has committed some sin. He has committed certain sin, because of which he has got a birth as a tree species. So in that species, he will be a nice tree. He will be a nice fruit bearing tree, giving shade to lot of people. So they are various based on our actions, or based on our karma. We take a form as a sinful or as a uh, pious tree. We can have these kinds of birds. Just like in human form of life also, there are some human beings who take birth with having a silver spoon or golden spoon in their mouth, whereas some human form, like human child, they are taking birth, they have not even a water to drink, not even a meal they can afford. So why there is a difference? Because of our desires, because of our actions. These desires leads to the actions. I'll narrate one story. Once there was a one king, and that king, along with his minister, he goes to visit his kingdom, various places. He come across one village, and in that village, he saw one farmer, and that farmer, he was very joyfully, he was cultivating his own farm. He was very happy, and near to that farmer, his wife was there, and children were there. They were playing, and all of them, they were very joyful. They were very happy and satisfied. So this king asks to the minister, "What is the reason? I am the head of the state and the king. I am not able to experience such kind of happiness, even though I have everything on my tips. I am not able to experience such kind of happiness. Then what is there this farmer is having?" So this minister, he says, "Let us go and inquire from the king, farmer itself." So they approach the farmer. They ask the farmer, "What is the reason of your happiness?" So farmer, he says that I have everything for my sustenance. I have a good family. For me, my life is very simple. My life is very simple. I'm getting sufficient food. I have a good family. My needs are very, very less. I don't require much. So I'm able to lead my life very happily. So somewhere this king, he was not satisfied with the answer, and he was coming back and discussing with the minister. So this minister, he says, actually, the thing is, I'll show you how this farmer is happy. For that, you just give me 99 gold coins. You just give me 99 gold coins. So this king, he takes 99 gold coins and hand over to the minister. Minister goes and keep these 99 gold coins in front, like in front of the door of this farmer where he was staying. So farmer, when he gets up in the morning, he comes out of that house and he saws there is one bag is lying, and he opens up the bag and he saws, oh, there is a gold coin, and there is no bound of his happiness. He was so joyful and happy to find these gold coins. To have these many gold coins, he has to entire life also. If he works hard, he cannot have that many gold coins. So he started, okay, let me count how many gold coins are there. He counted, there were 99 gold coins. Again he counted, again it was 99. Then he approached his wife and asked, can you please help me to count? I'm not able to, count properly. Can you please help? Wife also counted 99. So now this farmer, he became little worried. He became little worried that why there are only 99 coins. Why it is not 100? It is not 100. So what he does, to have that 100 coin, he want to complete that, it should be complete 100. He starts working hard. Day and night, he is now working very hard to get the 100 coin. To the extent his health is getting deteriorated. And one day what happened? His wife, she goes to the market and she took 2 gold coin and she went to the market for the shopping. And when he returned, this farmer returned from his cultivation and agricultural activities. He counted every day. He used to count. So this day he is finding there is only 97 gold coins. So he asked his wife. She told, yes, I took 2 gold coins for the shopping. I need some items. I took that. So he started fighting with his own wife. Now wife also left the home. Now he is working hard. After 2-3 months, this minister come along with the king and tells the king, now this farmer is also has joined our own club. What is that club? 99 club. He is also member of our 99 club. What is that club? I want to have more. I want to have more. A bit more. I want more and more to enjoy. Same now farmers' happiness, joy, peace of mind, everything has been destroyed. So this minister is showing to the king. Same way he is telling, we are also running behind so many such things in our life in the hope that this will satisfy me, this will satisfy me, this will give me the happiness, this will give me the satisfaction. A tendency to have bit more is what we are running behind. We are running behind. We many times, this human tendency we have, just like, in our childhood, if any one of you remember, when we lose some milk teeth, so always, our attention goes to that teeth, that area. Our tongue is touching that area. Our always attention is there because we have lost that teeth. Whereas, no doubt soon we'll get a permanent teeth, but we are worrying. Our tongue is getting pointing out there only. Same way in our human form of life, this is the human tendency that we are trying to adjust in such a way that this thing will satisfy me, this thing will give me the happiness, this thing will give me the pleasure. After having this, I will be happy. But what happens? We enter into the loop of this 99 club. Once you take a membership, you cannot get it cancelled. You cannot get it cancelled. That is not possible. So we have to be the member of Krishna's club. We have to be the member of Krishna's club, where simplicity should be the practice. We should practice simplicity in our life. Simple in our living, simple in our thoughts, simple in our eating, simple in all our habits. Once, Prabhupada narrates one very nice story. that once there was a mouse, and that mouse, he being harassed by the cat, so much he was disturbed that one day he approached a saintly person, a sadhu, because this sadhu is a yogi, he is powerful. So he approached the sadhu and informs him about the situation he is going through and asks for a favor that I being multiple times I am getting harassed by this cat. Can you please make me cat so that I no more get harassed? So this saintly person, sadhu, yogi, he says, okay, I'll make you cat. He transformed this mouse into the cat and he got a birth of a cat. Now, after a few days, this cat is getting harassed by a dog. This cat is getting harassed by a dog. So being again disturbed, he approached saintly person and request him to transform this cat into a dog. So saintly person being compassionate, he transforms that cat into a dog. Now he is in dog body. So after few days again, what happens? This dog is getting harassed by a lion. A tiger or a lion is behind this dog. So he approaches, being disturbed and harassed by such lion and tiger. He approached again saintly person and requested him to transform into a tiger. So saintly person again transforms him into a tiger. Now what happens? As soon as he took a body of a tiger, he got a body of a tiger. This tiger is staring at a saintly person, sadhu. So this sadhu is asked, what do you want? This tiger rushes towards the saintly person to attack him. And this saintly person again says, Punar Mushika Bhava. Again you become a mouse. So same way in our life, we get lot of desires. We think these desires will give me the happiness or will satisfy me. That desire will give me the happiness or satisfaction to myself. We get, so much. It's like a whirlpool of desires. We get dragged down into deeper and deeper. We get dragged down and we lose the opportunity to elevate ourselves spiritually, to elevate ourselves in Krishna consciousness, to attain the perfection of life. We lose all these opportunities just with a hope that this thing will satisfy me, this thing will help me. The whole arrangement is like, one day I'll be happy after getting this thing. After getting this thing, I'll be happy. So what happens? Actually, there is no scarcity of anything in the world. Everything is abundantly available. Only scarcity is a scarcity of Krishna consciousness. If we have got this opportunity to have a human form of life where we are in touch with Krishna's instructions, Krishna's message, so we should take this opportunity, utilize this human form of life to elevate ourselves. Already in the past, even in so many past life, we have done a lot of sense enjoyment. We have already done. This life we should try that let us bring Krishna as a center of our life. Here Prabhupada is nicely mentioning, in the human form of life, one can conquer the enemy lust by cultivation of Krishna consciousness under able guidance. One can easily conquer. We'll read the next verse, then we'll try to understand more in detail. Avritam jnanam etena jnanino nityavairina kamarupena kaunteya dushpurena lalena cha. Translation: Thus a man's pure consciousness is covered by his eternal enemy in the form of lust which is never satisfied, which burns like a fire. See what Krishna is mentioning here. A man's pure consciousness. Actually, we all are pure. There is no doubt about it. We being part and parcel of Krishna, we all are pure. But when we get a desire to enjoy independent of Krishna, and this desire is nothing but a lust, we get covering, or we get a contaminated consciousness. And this lust Krishna is explaining as eternal enemy, which is never satisfied and which burns like a fire. Dushpurena nalalena. So here Krishna is clearly mentioning that this lust cannot be satisfied. We may try, okay, let me do it. I will be happy, I will be satisfied. But that is not the case. It burns like a fire. Just like fire devours everything. Same way, this lust destroys everything. Once Akbar was thinking that once we get old, he was discussing this with the Birbal, and he was thinking and discussing that once we get old, it will be very easy to control the senses. We will not have these desires to enjoy the senses. It will be very, very easy. So Birbal says, no, my majesty, it is not like that. It is not like that. But Akbar could not understand how it is not like that. Once you get old, it is very easy to control the senses. So Birbal, he told, okay, I'll tell you on the right occasion, right moment, I'll tell you. One day, Akbar got a news that his minister, one of the old minister, he is very sick. He is very sick. So Akbar and Birbal, both they planned to visit this minister, and this time Birbal asked Akbar that we will visit along with your youngest daughter. So they visit this minister, and this minister, when they visited all these three persons, so this old minister, he was not at all able to take off his eyes from the princess, from the youngest daughter of Akbar. So this Birbal, he indicated to Akbar and told, see how tough or difficult it is to control over the senses. Don't think at the end of life or old age you will be free from such urges. If one has not gone through under a training, if one has not gone through under proper training, he cannot control over or win over or conquer this enemy. He cannot conquer this enemy which Krishna is mentioning as eternal enemy. Life after life, जीवन के साथ भी, जीवन के बाद भी, और इसके साथ जीवन बर्बाद भी. means your life will also get destroyed. Like that, this enemy is like this. So what is the solution? Solution also we will understand subsequent verses. Krishna is mentioning the solution also. So we'll read the purport. It is said in the Manu Smriti that lust cannot be satisfied by any amount of sense enjoyment. Just as fire is never extinguished by a constant supply of the fuel. In the material world, the center of all activities is sex. And thus, this material world is called Maithunya Agraha, or the shackles of sex life. In the ordinary prison house, criminals are kept within the bars. Similarly, the criminals who disobedient to the laws of the Lord are shackled by sex life. Advancement of material civilization on the basis of sense gratification means increasing the duration of material existence of a living entity. Therefore, this lust is the symbol of ignorance by which the living entity is kept within the material world. While one enjoys the sense gratification, it may be that there is some feeling of happiness, but actually, the so called feeling of happiness is the ultimate enemy of the sense enjoyer. So, very wonderful things Prabhupada has brought up here. Just like fire, if you try to put ghee or some inflammable substance into the fire, what will happen? For a time being, it may looks like, suppose you put a fire is there, you put some petrol into it, immediately put a petrol into it. For a fraction of second, it may look like fire has been extinguished, but immediately after that, there will be a boom of fire. Fire will, there will be a blast. So same way, we may think that if we try to enjoy senses, one day we'll be satisfied, but it is not at all possible. Further, Prabhupada has mentioned how this sex life is like a prison. In prison house, we get shackled by some chains. But same way in this material world, which is a dukhalyam ashashvatam, which is full of suffering. There is a cycle of birth, death, old age, disease, and all these things gives suffering to the living entity. We want to be happy, but we end up in some kind of distress or sadness in our life. So this prison, we get shackled by sense enjoyment, or especially sex life. I'll open one verse in the second chapter. Krishna says very wonderful instruction. I'll open up just a second. You see here, Krishna is clearly mentioning in the second chapter, Bhogeshwarya prasaktanam taya aprata chetasam vyavasaya atmika buddhi samadho na vidyate. In the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence, and who are bewildered by such things, the resolute determination for devotional service to the Supreme Lord does not take place. So here, Krishna is clearly mentioning Bhogeshwarya Prasaktanam. If we are absorbed in enjoying our senses, exploit this material nature, bhakti in our heart will not take place. Resolute determination to perform bhakti will not take place, because our mind is completely attached to enjoy the senses. And by this we will get bewildered, and again we will fall into this material world, in the pool of this material existence, which is full of suffering. So what is the solution? Solution, I think Krishna gives in intentions. Vyavasayatmika buddhi eka kuru nandana bahushakainantascha buddhayo vyavasayina. Those who are on this path and are resolute in the purpose, their aim is one. The beloved childs of Gurus, the intelligence of those who are irresolute is many branched. So here, how we can understand, suppose there is a chariot, and that chariot is driven by 5 horses, and you are the passenger of that chariot. Now, these all 5 horses, they are not at all controlled. They are not at all controlled. They are running. You want to go so and so destination, so and so place, you want to go take a right turn. But these horses, some horses trying to run towards the left, some horses are trying to run towards the front direction or straight direction. So what is happening? All these horses are running their own directions. You are getting very unpleasing ride on the chariot. You are completely getting baffled by the horses which are acting whimsically. So, suppose now this chariot is running by a very trained or expert chariot driver is controlling the horses, even though horses are not under control. He being expert, he can easily control over the horses, and he can take you to the right direction or to the right destination. So these horses, if we compare these horses to our senses, and the rope or reins which is used to control these horses to our mind, and chariot driver to be our intelligence, or we being the spirit soul as an atma, or a spirit soul as a passenger. So same thing is happening in our life. Because our senses are not controlled, purpose and goal of this human form of life is to come out of the cycle of birth and death, to come out of the cycle of material existence. But what is happening? Because these senses, they are not tame, horses are not tame, they are acting whimsically, they are taking here and there, but not to the destination. But suppose this chariot driver is our intelligence, which is very, very strong. A chariot driver who is just like jockey in horse races, even a toughest, a jockey who is very expert, he can tame the toughest horse also. Same way, if our intelligence is aligned with Vyavasaya Atmika Buddhi, is aligned with Krishna's instructions, with Guru Sadhu Shastra, if we are intelligent, we are strong, we can easily tame our senses, and we can easily reach to our destination. We can easily reach to our destination. So this Vyavasaya Atmika Buddhi can help us to reach to our destination. And in the last chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is mentioning that this sense enjoyment is like a poison. Initially, it may look like a nectar. I'll try to search that verse. It is in 18th chapter. Here. That happiness which is derived from the contact of senses with their object, and which appears like nectar at the first but poison at the end, is said to be of the nature of passion. So here Krishna is mentioning basically contact of senses and object means sense enjoyment, which appears like nectar in the beginning. We take so much pleasure. It appears like a nectar. Oh, there cannot be wonderful thing like this in the existence. We feel like that, but it is like a poison at the end. And that is the nature of passion. Or here, what is mode of goodness is that which is the beginning may be just like a poison, but the end is just like the nectar. And such happiness, Krishna is further mentioning, which awakens one's to self-realization, is said to be happiness in the mode of goodness. Initially, in Krishna consciousness, or after a few months or years, sometime it becomes like little tough austerity. When we ask some people to do chanting, it is very tough. It's like a austerity for them. So it is like a poison in the beginning, but you'll get nectar at the end. Here, very nice purport Prabhupada is mentioning, in the pursuit of self-realization, one has to follow many rules and regulations to control the mind and senses, and to concentrate the mind on the self. Following rules and regulations, no one likes. No one likes to follow the rules and regulation. It is like a poison. Further, we'll read all these procedures are very difficult, bitter like poison. But if one is successful in following the rules and regulations and comes to the transcendental position, he begins to drink a real nectar and he enjoys life. He enjoys life. So what happens when somebody performs sadhana bhakti or follows the rules and regulations of bhakti yoga? So gradually he'll get purified and he'll come to the level of Raganuga Bhakti, where he is experiencing every moment a sense of bliss and joy. A sense of bliss and joy he is experiencing every moment. We'll read the next verse. Indriyani manobuddhir asya adhashthanamuchyate eter vimohet esha Jnanam avratya dehinam. So here Krishna is going to locate where lust sits. What is his location? The senses, the mind, and the intelligence are sitting place of this lust, which veils the real knowledge of the living entity and bewilders him. Now suppose that same chariot, neither senses are under control, means horses are not tamed, not controlled, neither those ropes are proper under the control of this chariot driver, or nor this chariot driver is expert. So you can experience that kind of ride in your mind. You can imagine, you can experience what kind of ride you are going to have. Suppose you are driving the vehicle. You are driving a vehicle, but that vehicle wheels are not aligned. There is no proper alignment. It is very difficult to drive such vehicle. But if you are expert, somehow you can go through. Somehow you can drive and manage. Same way, our intelligence, our mind has to be purified. And how it can be purified? It can be purified by engaging our mind and intelligence in Krishna's service, by chanting the holy name. Eko Hari Naam Kori Sarva Papanash. Just by chanting one's holy name of the Lord with great intensity, with great purity, one can be free from all kinds of sinful reactions. His intelligence can be purified. Once, now this driver, he is very strong, he is expert. Even though wheels are not aligned properly, he can easily drive the vehicle. Same way, if our intelligence is aligned with Krishna's instructions, Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, we can easily tame our senses with the help of our mind. So most important thing here is one has to be convinced. Then only it is possible. Then only it is possible. If one is not convinced, then how much ever he may try, it is not at all possible. We'll read the purport. The enemy has captured different strategic positions in the body of the conditioned soul, and therefore Lord Krishna is giving hints of those places, so that one who wants to conquer the enemy may know where he can be found. Mind is the center of all activities of the senses, and thus the mind is the reservoir of all ideas of sense gratification, and as a result, the mind and the senses become the repositories of lust. Next, the intelligence department become the capital of such lustful propensities. Intelligence is the immediate next door neighbor of the spirit soul. Lusty intelligence influences the spirit soul to acquire the false ego and identify itself with matter and thus with the mind and senses. The spirit souls become addicted to enjoying the material senses and mistake this as true happiness. This false identification of the spirit soul is very nicely explained in the Srimad Bhagavatam. यस्य आत्मा बुद्धिर पुनपैत्री धातुके स्वधि कलत्रादिषु भौमा इधिया यत्तीर्थ बुद्धि सलिते न करहिचिज ज्ञानेषु अभिज्ञेषु स एव गोखरा. A human being who identifies this body made of three elements with his self, who considers the byproduct of the body to be his kinsman, who considers the land of birth as worshipable, and who goes to the place of pilgrimage simply to take a bath rather than meet men of transcendental knowledge there, is to be considered as an ass or a cow. So here, very nicely Prabhupada has mentioned how through our mind This lust is sitting at various strategic positions like senses, mind, and intelligence. So what happened? The senses and mind, especially mind, gets a new thoughts to engage the senses in sense enjoyment. Let me engage my senses in this way, I'll be happy, I'll be satisfied. Let me engage my senses in that way, I'll be happy, I'll be peaceful, I'll be satisfied. So mind creates all these nuances by which we try to become happy. So what happens when mind does all these things? Intelligence also get influenced. Intelligence also get influenced with the lustful propensities, and when intelligence get influenced or contaminated, we being a spirit soul, we also identify ourselves this matter or with this senses or mind. We try to identify ourselves with the senses and mind and try to find happiness with the sense enjoyment. Let me have this, let me have that, I'll be happy, I'll be satisfied. Mind, which is a repository of all the emotions, then we feel I'll be happy. So soul, we being spirit soul, we, after our mind intelligence all these things get contaminated, or lust take a very strong position, strong hold, we get convinced that yes, sense enjoyment is the ultimate thing in the life. There is a one saying, marry, what is that, drink marry or something, drink marry or enjoy, something like that. So we get convinced that yes, we being a spirit soul get convinced that this is all in all. This sense enjoyment is the only thing is meant in this human form of life. Whereas by the mercy of Krishna, ब्रह्मांड भ्रमिते कोनो भाग्यवान जीव, गुरु कृष्णा कृपा पाए भक्ति लगता बीज. By the mercy of Krishna, when some very fortunate rare soul gets the opportunity to get a seed of bhakti in his heart, then he cultivates that seed of devotion in his heart by engaging in Krishna's service. He gets free from all these propensities, lustful propensities. He gets free from Bhog Aishwarya Prasaktanam. And then he engages in Krishna's service and he can easily come out of this cycle of birth and death from this material existence. In the Bhagavatam it is mentioned, Vidvam Sapa Kashati. Even Vidman means one who is very intelligent. Even for that person it is not easy to control the senses. But by the mercy of Krishna, Guru and Krishna, one receives the seed of bhakti in his heart, he can get free from this lustful propensities. Just like many times we see people across the world very intelligent, very expert, very renowned, but they are not able to control themselves, or they are not able to control their lustful propensities. They want to enjoy, exploit more and more. So even a person of intelligence cannot control the senses easily. So what is the solution is, by cultivating the seed of devotion in our heart, one can easily get free from all these lustful propensities. His intelligence gets purified. He gets a Vyavasaya Atmika Buddhi. Currently our buddhi, our intelligence is full of contamination, lustful propensity. It is covered. right? So with this, we will end here. Anyone has any question or anything to share or ask, please feel free to ask or share. Any questions? Hmm?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
I was just going through 18th chapter today,
Hmm?
and there were some verses which I was not able to understand. I'm
Hmm?
just opening it. I don't remember the words exactly. Give me a minute. So it talked about modes of goodness, modes of
Hmm?
passion, and modes of
Hmm?
ignorance.
Ignorance,
So
yes.
I could not relate to the levels which were talked about.
Hmm?
I am just searching for that verse. Give me a minute. Hmm. So it talked about, in other words, knowledge concerning the spirit soul beyond this body is
Hmm?
called knowledge in the mode of goodness, and knowledge producing many theories and doctrines
Hmm?
by mm, of mundane logic and mental speculation is the product of mode of passion, and
Hmm?
knowledge concerned with only keeping the body comfortable is said to be in the mode of ignorance. I was not very clear as to what is being referred here.
Hmm. Verse number, can you share once if you have?
I think one second, I'll just tell you. It's text 22, chapter 18.
Okay, 22. Yes, I'm on 22 only. All right. And open up here. Hmm. Chapter 18, verse number 22. I'll share the screen. All right. So, and that one is by which one is attached? All right. Here, right? In the other words, knowledge concerning the spirit soul beyond this body is called knowledge in the mode of goodness. Knowledge
Yes.
produced many theories and doctrines by dint of mundane logic, and mental speculation is the product of mode of passion. And knowledge concerned only with the keeping the body comfortable is said to be the mode to be in the mode of ignorance. So yes, please.
Ignorance.
What is your question? Can you once again?
I could not understand whole of the phrase,
All
as
right.
in I could not differentiate between the three levels.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, in the mode of ignorance, as here it is mentioned, the knowledge of ordinary animals, it is always, in our life, we acquire knowledge. But you will see some people, they have a tendency to acquire knowledge just to keep or maintain their body. They want to eat lavishly, they want to sleep, they make all nice arrangements to have a comfort sleep, nice beddings, best of the beddings, just to sleep, defend. They will have all various kind of wealth, assets, properties, so many things. They will try to defend by guarding those things, and mate. They will have lot of social circle. They will be showing off, indulging in all sexual activities. All these things they will be doing. So whatever if we see they are doing is doing to maintain, not only maintain, not only maintain, but to live body, like all the arrangements they are making on bodily level to keep their body comfortable, to keep or to enjoy their bodily senses. All whatever arrangements they are doing is doing just for the sake of body. They are doing for the sake of body. So that kind of knowledge is in knowledge of mode of ignorance. Because to what we say, to eat lavishly, you require knowledge. You require certain knowledge. To sleep well, you require certain knowledge. All these arrangements has to be done perfectly. You require certain knowledge. But all that you are doing just to keep your body comfortable. One thing is you keep your body comfortable so that you can serve Krishna. But no, they are not at all concerned about that. They want to just keep their body at most comfort. That is knowledge of mode of ignorance. Second comes a higher level of understanding. That is mode of passion. What is that? We philosophize lot of things. Just like there are a lot of philosophers. They give philosophy. They give philosophy. They speculate. They concoct. By which they, express that by doing this, we will be comfortable in our life. We will be comfortable in life. Just like a lot of philosophers give a lot of philosophies, right? So that we can have the comfort in our life. We can enjoy in our life. We can be happy in our life. That is also a certain kind of knowledge. So that knowledge is knowledge in the mode of passion. Whereas knowledge concerning the spirit soul, knowledge which is about spirit soul, that this spirit body is different from the soul. We are not this body, we are the spirit soul. This knowledge or spiritual knowledge is the knowledge in the mode of goodness. The science of the self, the science of the self is the knowledge in the mode of goodness. The knowledge which is concerned about the real self. Who is the real self? Spirit soul is the real self. The knowledge which is concerned about what is the nature of soul. Soul is eternal. Soul is full of knowledge. Soul is full of ananda, happiness, bliss. This soul, it enters into this material world, occupies different kinds of bodies based on desires and based on various degrees of lust. So all this knowledge, which is completely centered around the spirit soul. When we say spirit soul, means spirit soul being a part and parcel of Supreme Lord Krishna. It includes Krishna also. It includes this entire creation also. Because this spirit soul is a part of this creation. So when we say about spirit soul, it includes everything. It includes everything. So that knowledge is knowledge in the mode of goodness. So hope this helps you.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
It is clear?
Yes, it is.
Any other question or anything? So this lustful propensities, we cannot get free from by our own endeavor. It is not so easy. One should have a tapas shakti. A spiritual force is required to get free from these lustful propensities. And how it is possible? It is possible when we receive the mercy of Krishna. And how we can receive? When we are engaged in his service, bhakti yoga. So by that one can get free from these lustful propensities. And it is like a stain. Just like when we wear clothes, we get different kinds of stain. Some stains you can just, with your hand, if you try to wipe, it will go away. Some stains, it is with some washing, water wash, if you do, it will go away. Some stains, it is like you have to put in washing machine, it will go away. Some stains, they are so thick, so deep rooted, that you have to do deep cleaning of the cloth, then only it will go away. So same way, in our heart, so many such lustful desires, lusty desires are so deep rooted. There are some desires which will go away so quickly, very easily. Some desires are very deep rooted. So those deep rooted desires can be easily vanquished by the mercy of Krishna, by the tapas shakti. When we are engaged in his service, it can be easily wiped off. So yes, any question or anything to share? All right. With this, we will end here. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki,
Jai.
Prabhupada ki,
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Thank you.